This video is for homework 3, which is writing an equation of ellipses, and we are only going to do writing the equation from a graph because this other part, given the vertices and covertices, we're not going to go over that in this for this year. You may see it next year, so if you want to watch the video on that part, you can, but for the quiz, you'll only have one question that comes from a graph. So the first part says label A, B, C, H, and K on each diagram, then give the standard form for the equation of an ellipse. So remember, HK, that's the center, so I'm going to write this in here. So we have HK for the center. And then A is for the major axis, that's the longer one. And if it's horizontal, that means that it's the horizontal part, that's the major axis. And then B is for the minor axis, and C is the length from the center to the focus. And then we have to write the equation for standard form. So we have x minus h squared. And since it's horizontal, a squared goes here underneath the x. Then we have y minus k squared over b squared equals 1. And it's always equal to 1. If it's not, then it's not in standard form yet, and you can't use that equation to graph. So if it's not equal to 1, you have to get it equal to 1, and then you can graph from there. For a vertical ellipse, we have the same thing. HK is in the center. And then the major axis will be the vertical one. So that means that this part is A, this part is B, and then C is from the center to the focus. And we have the same thing for the numerators here. And it's equal to 1. But since it's a vertical ellipse, b squared is under x and a squared is under y. So that's what the difference is. The a squared and b squared switch places if it's vertical or horizontal. And then also, if it's horizontal, then this one and this one, these are the vertices, or the vertex if it's single. Then this is the covertex, and this one is a covertex. So on your quiz, I ask you to write down the coordinates of the vertices and then the covertices, and so you have to know which one is which. The vertices, or the single one, is vertex. That's with the major axis. Covertices go with the minor axis. And then here, the top and bottom, this is a vertex and this is a vertex. And then the left and right, these are covertices. Okay, so that's the parts of an ellipse. Now we're going to look at this equation, or we're going to look at this ellipse and write the equation, the center, and find all of the other things. So the first thing is that the center is at 0, 0, so that's easy. And from that, we can tell that it's just going to be x squared and y squared. And this is going to be equal to 1. The vertices, that's on the major axis. So this is a vertical ellipse because it's longer vertically. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This is at 8. So our top vertex is at 0, 8. And then our bottom vertex is at 0, negative 8. So this one you would put for top, this one you would put for bottom on the quiz. And then you have the covertices. This is at 2, 0. And then we have negative 2, 0. So this one would be the right covertex. This would be the left covertex. Now, we know that this part right here, let me do this in a different color. This is A. We just barely went over that. So 8 is A, which means A squared is 64. And since it's a vertical ellipse, we put it under the y squared. Now the other part, this is B. which is 2. So we put b squared under x squared, so that's 4. So we have our equation, we have our center, we have our vertices, co-vertices. Now we just need the foci. So to find the foci, we do c squared equals b squared minus, not b squared. I still am trying to do b squared first. I don't know why. A squared minus b squared. So that's 64 minus 4, which gives us 60. So I'm going to look at what the decimal is of. Nope, that's not what I want. Okay, we're going to go here and put this over here. Okay, there we go. So we want the square root of 60. This is 7.7. So 7.7, that would be like up here and down here. So the coordinates of the foci, the top one would be 0, 7.7, and the bottom would be 0, negative 7.7. And that's how you would type it into your into the quiz for the top and bottom foci coordinates. Okay, now we have the next one. The center is at 0, 2. So we know that the x part is just x squared, but for y we would do y minus 2 squared equals 1. The vertices, we have to see which way is longer. So this one is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So this one is 6. And then this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 5. So this is a horizontal ellipse because it's longer horizontally. And if it was the same, if we had 5 and 5, that would mean that it was a circle. So it's going to be longer either horizontally or vertically. But if they're the same, then that's just a circle. So the vertices, that's going to be on the longer axis, on the major axis. So that's horizontally. So we have 6, 2. This is our right vertex. And then for our left vertex, we have negative 6, 2. And in this case, this is A. So A is 6, so 36 is A squared. It's horizontal, so we put it under the X. Then we have the co-vertices. So our top co-vertex is 0, 7. Our bottom co-vertex is 0, negative 3. And we know that this is 25 because that's 5 squared. This is B. Then we have our foci. So we have c squared equals a squared minus b squared. So that's 36 minus 25. So we get c is the square root of 11. So if we type in the square root of 11 here, that's 3.3. So from here, I'm going to go over 3.3 to the right and 3.3 to the left. This is nice because the center isn't moved left or right. So we can just say that the right focus is at 3.32, and then the left focus is at negative 3.32. Okay, and then we're not going to do this back page. You can try it if you want. It'll be good practice for next year, But for this class, I feel like doing it from the graph is enough practice and enough exposure to what we're doing here. So now on this one, we have the center. We'll start there. So we go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is -6, -1. I'm going to take away that calculator. So we have -6, -1. So we have x plus 6 squared here, and then y plus 1 squared here, and it's always equal to 1. We can tell that this is a horizontal vertex because we have this part here that's 2, and then we have this one here that's 1. So it's longer horizontally. The vertices are going to be on the horizontal axis, or the major axis, which is horizontal in this case. So we have -4, -1, that's our right vertex, and then the left vertex is -8, -1. For the co-vertices, we have -6, 0. This is our top co-vertex, and then our bottom is -2, sorry, not -2, -6, -2. -6, -2. In our equation, this would be 2 squared, but we're going to write that as 4, and then 1 squared is 1. Yeah, so make sure to type those in correctly in the quiz. Then the focus is c squared equals a squared minus b squared, so we get 4 minus 1, which is 3. So if we find the square root of 3, that's 1.7, because we're gonna approximate it to 1 decimal place. So we need to go 1.7 to the right and to the left, and then we'll put those coordinates on here. So for the right focus, this would be -1, 2, 3, 4. This would be -4.3. Because we went 1.7 to the right, so that means that where this point is from here to here is 0.3, because from here to here is 1.7. So that's -4.3, and it's at -1. And then we have our left focus, so that would be 7.7, -7.7, -1. And I want you to round your decimal places to 1, just like we did here. So you should have the answers just like this. Okay, good luck.